When many of us think of autism and an initial diagnosis, we think of children. But a growing number of adults are learning they too have autism, and the condition has gone untreated for years. Here's my Nightline co-anchor, Juju Chang.
This cabinet, I feel like, is the star of the show in the kitchen.
Stardom and fame, everything Demi Burnett dreamed of.
I can transform myself into a 10, you know?
But it was her on-screen antics on The Bachelor
I will happily accept your rose.
that made her famous.
Ladies, the queen is back!
Her acting out also drawing eyes on Bachelor in Paradise.
Would there be anyone there who doesn't know who I am? That's a joke.
But behind the scenes, Demi was grappling with autism and didn't know it.
I'm so mortified. God!
What do people not know about you from what they've seen publicly?
I'm really known for being so bold and confident, and if someone confronts me, I could handle it and stuff. But I really don't like that kind of stuff.
It's a performance.
Yeah, for the theater.
It's an act. It's all
a bit.
an act.
It's a performance to save your life, though, because it's necessary.
Demi says that performance helped her navigate a crippling social anxiety she could never understand.
Right here.
She says she initially self-medicated by abusing alcohol.
I sobered up. It was 6 months after, and I had been struggling with being on the same page as people, them misunderstanding me or me misunderstanding them.
Last year, an autism diagnosis suddenly put things into perspective for the 28-year-old.
What clicked into place at that moment?
That feeling of being out of the loop of why is this coming natural for everyone else? Impulsivity, just might say something or do something that you really regret doing.
And so why do you feel like you want to speak out about it and be public about it?
I want to be able to provide that space for people to relate and not feel alone in this or not feel stupid about it.
Demi is one of a growing number of people getting diagnosed with autism as adults.
Autism is characterized by challenges and differences in social interaction and communication, preferences for routine, repetition, as well as sensory sensitivities.
Of the 5.4 million adults living with autism, some get diagnosed as kids, and others reach adulthood before ever recognizing signs of their neurodivergence. Also speaking out, celebrities like chandelier singer Sia.
Recently discussing her autism on Rob Has a Podcast.
45 years I was like, I've got to go put my human suit on. And only in the last 2 years have I become fully myself.
Prominent athletes like former NFL player Joe Barksdale and former NBA player Tony Snell also revealing their diagnoses. And actor Wentworth Miller went decades not knowing he had autism until 2020 at the age of 48.
Those who might have average or above average intellectual ability might kind of fly under the radar or be able to mask some of their symptoms. And also, we sometimes see more adult diagnoses as more children are getting diagnosed.
For Demi, her diagnosis brought the relief she was desperate for.
Way back in college, she actually suspected she might have autism. What were your social interactions like that gave you the feeling that, oh, maybe I am?
It's not like there's a specific social interaction. There's just this feeling of anxiety of I need to put on the show, put on the mask of oh, I'm a person who functions and does things. Hi, how are you? But I think that the mask is very protective because you can't be your true self in the real world sometimes because we have been ourselves and there were negative reactions that traumatized us.
When Demi watches herself on The Bachelor, she says she can see beyond the mask she was wearing.
Can I interrupt?
So here you grab him.
Yes.
I want to show you something.
All right.
Watch how people automatically get upset with me.
We're going to go upstairs. Oh my God, I gotta be kidding me. What?
It may seem like an ordinary reality TV moment, but Demi says she was struggling with social cues and anxiety.
That's not me trying to do a gimmick. That was a moment of pure autistic, like isolation for no reason, like misunderstanding, misreading. I'm in fight or flight until I'm done talking to Colton every single time.
She's now begun to live in a way that's more comfortable for her, doing what's called unmasking.
Unmasking refers to the idea of kind of allowing yourself to be yourself, essentially. If you feel like you need to rock or use some sort of sensory accommodations, less like energy focused on trying to hide those autism symptoms.
Demi's headphones give her a noise buffer she says she needs. Subtle, repetitive movements calm her. Painting eases her anxiety.
Hi, baby.
But her biggest source of support and comfort is her dog, Sandor.
My dog regulates me. One of the biggest things that I need is like another nervous system to like let me know that I'm safe.
Demi has begun chronicling her journey on social media.
My mornings are like this. I wake up, 30 seconds of bliss, the demands hit me. As an autistic person, I can be sensory seeking, so the more that people talk about being autistic, it means that the less that we have to hide that part of ourselves.
Joining a growing community of men and women.
But it also can make us like not really want to be around people.
Hey, Maxie. Hey, Maxie. Guess how many followers you have on TikTok?
Who are showing how they're living with autism.
Might as well be like really open with it on my social media and stuff and just change the stigmas around it.
I've always known I was a tinge different. What's important about finding out that you're autistic, it removes this idea that you're weird, and it puts it in a spot where you can say, oh, I'm autistic and it's okay for me to need these things.
Last December, shortly after being diagnosed with ADHD, Chelsea Potts was diagnosed with autism at the age of 33.
Multiple girls, especially girls of color, have been missed throughout the years because we were never included in what would be considered the criteria for autism.
We see it most often in women and in people of color. Women might be a little bit more prone to masking as one reason. And also, historically, autism was really thought of as kind of a male disorder.
Well, I did buy one thing. I bought some rocks.
Chelsea's daughter, Kennedy, is also autistic. Both Kennedy and her twin, Braylon, have ADHD. Kennedy's diagnosis came after Chelsea's.
Once I realized I had autism, I was like, oh. It was hard because she's 10. So I look back to the time where she would freak out when we would go to places. And I'm like, oh, just get it together. Why can't we just have a nice trip? And I never thought about, like, what does she need? Even as I speak about it now, it makes me emotional because that's my baby, and I didn't notice.
Oh, no, seriously, look.
What? On a visit to the Cincinnati Zoo with her 10-year-old twins, it's clear Chelsea is determined to help her daughters navigate the world.
Look.
They look weird.
No one from the outside can see what they're up against.
Nope, it's a sensory map. So this can tell us where the areas are really loud, where they're really crowded. So if we don't want to be around a whole lot of people, we can avoid those. Kenny, is there any place you want to avoid?
I don't want to go to a crowded location.
Okay, well, I have to put on these glasses.
Chelsea is already in sensory overload.
My head is starting to hurt.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, it's loud and it's hot.
Kennedy is having a crisis of her own.
You getting tired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Their family stopping by the zoo's calming room for a moment of quiet.
I'm just relaxing and taking it in.
I don't know. It feels soft.
And seeing Kennedy takes Chelsea back to her own childhood.
I think getting diagnosed as a kid can help you advocate for your needs a lot early and practice that in a much safer environment. Whereas when you're diagnosed as an adult, then you're really going back and you're rethinking your whole life.
As an adult, Chelsea has thrived professionally. She's an assistant dean at Miami University in Ohio. But work is still a challenge. Communication is a minefield.
My words are usually jumbled, so a lot of times I will leave conversations with regrets.
Chelsea considers herself lucky. Studies suggest that up to 75% of adults with autism are underemployed.
There are so many gaps in what we have available for autistic adults. It's nowhere near it needs to be.
people describe it as falling off a services cliff. There's really not many opportunities for individuals, and especially for individuals who are creative, which is an area we specialize in.
Heidi Stieglitz-Ham created Spectrum Fusion in Houston, a nonprofit that provides services and a sense of community to adults with autism.
We want it to be for all levels. Yeah, all levels.
The group also employs people in video production.
There's a stereotype of individuals on the spectrum that excel in math and science, but we have the rest of the spectrum to consider.
25-year-old John Carl Barth is one of the participants.
I had a terrible experience in school, and I studied video production. So I dropped out there, and I had no degree and no prospects, seemingly. And now, against all odds, I actually have a job in a field I want to work in. This is a workplace that is very much made with adults on the spectrum in mind, which most jobs in any field aren't.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff in here.
For Demi, success in her field looks like being her most authentic self.
What do you want for Demi's future?
I want to be able to exist and not have to be so frantic about how to survive all the time.
Let's look at the penguin.
Back in Ohio, Chelsea wants the same for her family.
When I think about my daughters, I want them to be able to really, really love themselves. Sometimes we don't think about how we have been socialized to do certain things. Am I really that different? Or am I just coming from a different perspective?
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.